Wow, it's nice to meet you once again. Sure, you are doing great. Yes, we are still on our friction, and we are going deeper now. But before we move further, I would like you to please click on that subscription button and like. That's all. Subscription, like, that's all. Then we'll update you. How you doing? Sure, you are doing great. It's really nice to meet you because, you know, something that is there's something that kills a man faster than poverty, and that is ignorance. Ignorance of what you don't know is a killer, is a disease. And the fact that we are here now shows that you want to learn, and having this knowledge is what we call power. Knowledge is power. So please enjoy the clip. The video sitting like this. Yes. Yeah, maybe 6 kilogram. Let me do it like this. 6 kilogram on a smooth surface. The bodies surface. The bodies will accelerate at dash. Yes. They are trying to look for the acceleration. Then if the coefficient of friction is 0.5, the bodies will accelerate at dash. So what's the two questions is what's the acceleration when the body is sitting on a smooth surface, and when the coefficient of friction is attached now, what is the acceleration? So now two things are happening here now. First of all, one, there is a tension acting on this string that tends to pull the body back upward, and there is also a tension acting on the string here that tends to drag this box towards the pulley, and there is also a force based on the weight of the object acting downward, and there's also a force at this point too that is also trying to go towards this direction. But then there's a force here with respect to this mass 6 kilogram. Yes, but this force and this force is coming downward. So there is a force that tends to go down, and there is a tension that pulls this F G resisting force go to Fr, then resisting force, or okay, let me call it resisting force or effective force, then T go to tension. So if you look at this now, the tension is dragging this bus, and this one is dragging backward. But the drag force now, Fg, is supposed to be a product of mass times acceleration to gravity. Are you getting it? Mass times acceleration to gravity. So, but at this point now we're having, let's form our equation. Our equation is going to be what? The tension minus the drag force will give us the resisting force Fr. So now the tension minus the Fg, which is the drag force, is supposed to be what? 6 times acceleration to gravity, which is G. But is there any gravitational force acting on it now? No. It's just on 0. It's not going downward, it's not going upward. So the Fg is equal to what? 6 times 0 is equal to 0. So it's equal to 0. Then the resisting force now, the resisting force, which is what? Mass times acceleration. So what's the mass? The Fr is equal to mass times acceleration. The effective force, the product of the mass times the acceleration moving towards this direction. So 6 times A. So we are going to have T is equal to what? 6A. This will give us equation 1. Why? Because we are talking about this mass moving towards this direction at an acceleration of A is equal to what? 6A. Now equation 2 now, this second equation now, we are going to, at this point in time now, the body tends to go downward, and is dragging, the tension is dragging this body, but this body tends to drag the tension downward. So it's going to be what? The dragging force Fd minus tension is equal to what? Mass, the effective force Fr. And what is Fr now? Fr is mass times acceleration. What is the mass? Is 3. What is the acceleration? The mass is m is equal to 3 for this one. This one, the mass here, m is equal to what? 6. Now, the acceleration, A, we don't know. So it's going to be what? The dragging force now is going to be 3 times. Remember I said the dragging force is mass times acceleration to gravity. But note that this one is now acting under gravity when g is what 10. So the dragging force now is going to mg, which is 3 times what 10 minus tension is equal to the effective force of the resisting force, which is mass times acceleration. What's the mass? 3 times A. So we're going to have 30 minus t is equal to what? 3A. This one gives us equation 2. So let us equate equation 1 and 2 together. Now, equation 1 gives us t is equal to 6A. Equation 2, it gives us 30 minus t is equal to A. So now let's substitute 6A for t now. When t is equal to 6A, so substitute into 2, equation 2 now. So we have 30 minus, whenever you see t now, put 6A, because t now is equal to 6A. So 6A is equal to what? Equation 2 is equal to 3A. So now I'm going to have 30 is equal to 3A plus 6A. 30 is equal to what? 9A. That goes by 9. So 30 over 9 is equal to 8. So 30 divided by 9. 30 divided by 9. It gives us 3.3. So 30 divided by 9. 8 is equal to what? 3.3 meter per second square. So as the question says, what is the acceleration? The bodies, that is, yes, the bodies will accelerate at what? The body will accelerate at 3.3 meter per second square. Now let's go to B. The B of this question says that if the coefficient of friction is 0.5, remember, coefficient of friction is equal to what? F over R. Are you getting it? And so what is F? F is equal to what? Mu R. And what is R? R is equal to what? Mg. So now, and they gave us our coefficient of friction from the question as what? 0.5. It's equal to 0.5. So what is the frictional force now? The frictional force is going to be 0.5. Now, remember, at this point in time now, we are talking about frictional force. That is, what is the effective force acting between this box and the surface now? Of course, this tension tends to drag the body downward. So acceleration due to gravity will be introduced. So we have U times M now. What is M? The mass, which is 6, times what is G? G is always 10. So 0.5 times 6 is 3 times 10 to give us what? To give us 30. So the frictional force at this point in time now is 30. So let's come back to the equation, which is what will it accelerate at if it's now having a frictional force now. So coming back to the initial equation that it was not having a frictional force, which is equation 1, of which we said equation 1 Fg at this point now the frictional force is 0. So we are going to come back to equation 1. When we arrive at our Fd, this 30 becomes the Fd. So Fd is equal to 30. So let's substitute it into equation 1 now. So we are going to have T minus 30 is equal to 6A. Let's make this our new equation 1. So our equation 2 now still remains the same because of what? It has no coefficient of friction. It does not drag. It is not dragging. It does not. There's no friction between this box and the wall. This is the one that it indicates in the question that is sitting at the surface. So the equation 2 still remains the same. So equation 2, we can come back and use our usual equation 2, which is what? 30 minus t is equal to what? Is equal to 3a. Equation 3 is what? So the acceleration having a coefficient of what? Of friction of 0.5 will give us what? 0. So the answer A is equal to 0. That's the answer for the second question. So for the first question, question A, the acceleration is 3.3 meters per second square. Why? Because it's not having a coefficient of friction sitting at the smooth surface, so there's no coefficient of friction. Now for question number 2 now, is having a coefficient of friction. Why? Now they are indicating that the question or the box now is not smooth. So at this point, because it is having a coefficient of 0.5 now, the acceleration is 0. So it's not going to move because it is having a static coefficient. Thank you very much. It's really nice to have you around this day. I really want to see you more and more. Keep enjoying our video, like, subscribe. See you next video. Have a nice day and God bless you.